Good evening and welcome. My name is Captain Chad Cave, and it's an honor to be the Master of Ceremonies for tonight's events. Would everyone please stand for the presentation of colors by the Frederick County Rescue Honor Guard and the Fire Brigade Pipes and Drums of Greater Baltimore, and remain standing for the National Anthem, which will be sung by Mrs. Brittany Poindexter, Assistant Director of the Frederick Children's Choir.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets had glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
It is my pleasure to introduce Reverend Dr. Wade Martin of the Brook Hill United Methodist Church to lead us in the invocation.
So let us pray. Most gracious God, we thank you for this gathering as we come together to honor the members of Recruit Class 21, their families, and their instructors on the day of their graduation. We ask that you come alongside each recruit and be their guide and guardian as they move through their careers with their families. Give them grace that they may be industrious, diligent, disciplined, devout, and charitable in their work. These things we ask in your name. Amen.
Please be seated. In case of an emergency, I would like to take a moment to point out the exits at the rear of the auditorium. You could also, if you need assistance, grab one of the personnel in uniform. Also tonight, Frederick County's IIT Video Services will be taping the ceremonies and will broadcast it on Frederick County Government Channel 19 for future viewing. Please allow me to introduce our various guests, as well as thank them for their attendance and the various levels of support that they have given our organization. With us on stage is the Honorable Jan Gardner, Frederick County Executive. Delegate Kathy Afzali, District 4. The Honorable Sandra Dalton, Clerk of the Circuit Court of Frederick County. Chief Thomas Owens, the Chief of the Frederick County Division of Fire Rescue Services. Deputy Chief Chip Jewell, Deputy Chief of Volunteer Fire Rescue Services. Assistant Secretary Susie Nickel, Frederick County Volunteer Fire Rescue Association and Frederick County Advisory Board member. Deputy Chief Tom Coe of the Frederick County Division of Fire Rescue Services. Deputy Chief Steve Leatherman, Frederick County Division of Fire Rescue Services. Lieutenant Stu Smith, United States Navy. Mr. Stephen Jones, President of the Frederick County Career Firefighters Association, IAFF Local 3666. And myself, co-chair of the Frederick County Fire Advisory Board. No. Joining us in the audience is Chief Mark McNeil, Frederick County Fire Rescue Advisory Board and Chief of the United Steam Fire Engine Company No. 3. And Chief Pat McTighe Sr., Braddock Heights Volunteer Fire Department. A special thanks goes to the Frederick County Division of Fire Rescue Services Honor Guard, the Loudoun County Fire Rescue Service, the Fire Brigade Pipes and Drums of Greater Baltimore, as well as the other agencies that are listed within the ceremony program. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the Honorable Jan Gardner, Frederick County Executive.
Good evening, everyone. It's really a pleasure to come to these events. It's really a great accomplishment for all of our firefighter recruits and for all of your families and friends. I wanted to come to congratulate the graduates of Recruit Class 21. I'm so happy to be able to celebrate with you this evening and to officially welcome you to the Frederick County government family. Today, you officially become Frederick County Firefighter EMTs. Tonight's graduation has been more than a year in the making. It was February of 2016 when applicants started coming into the Division of Fire and Rescue Services for this recruit class. Only 24 of the more than 1,200 applicants were invited to be part of this academy, which reported for duty on December 5th. 23 of you are with us here this evening. For the past 27 weeks, these men and women have been part of an intense training program, learning fire suppression, rescue techniques, emergency medical services, and how to deal with hazardous materials, among other things. It is amazingly hard work. Your Career Firefighters Union had a Firefighter Class 101 for the elected officials, and I can tell you, we learned how hard it was to gear up, to carry a hose line, and to operate the jaws of life. It is a physically and mentally demanding job, and it really is a job that I could not personally do. If any of the friends and families of our recruits who are here this evening doubt that the training was difficult, you should know that over the 800+ hours of training, these recruits lost a combined total of 316 pounds. Now, I think that's a hard way to go in a weight loss program, but it certainly works. The members of this recruit class came to the academy from a variety of backgrounds. Many had some level of experience or training. A few had no firefighter training experience at all. But when it came time for each of these recruits to report for duty, it didn't really matter if they had military background or if they had worked as a waitress or a civil engineer and wanted a career change. Every single recruit had to endure 4 days a week of physical fitness training. Every recruit spent 65 hours learning rescue techniques and spent hours at a flashover simulator. And every recruit successfully completed 220 hours of Firefighter 1 and 2 coursework. 17 of the positions in the recruit class 21, about 2/3 of the class, were filled thanks to a $6.3 million grant that we received from the federal government. Our federal delegation in Washington, D.C. worked hard to secure the funding for the department. It comes from the Department of Homeland Security as a SAFER grant. Now, SAFER stands for Staffing for Adequate Fire and Rescue Response. Frederick County received the largest SAFER grant in the state of Maryland and one of the largest in the nation. And this has enabled the county to accelerate our transition from station staffing to tactical unit staffing, which is much safer for our crews and our responding first responders, and operationally more effective for the citizens of our community. All of the positions in recruit class 20 and 2/3 of the positions in this recruit class were funded through this grant for 2 years. When that time period ends, the county will take over that funding. Perhaps because of the attention the grant received, the local media became very interested in recruit class 21. Some might say that you're all now local celebrities, with all the articles, photos, and videos that have been published. Every Tuesday, I could count on seeing at least one of you on the front page of the Frederick News Post as the paper followed your journey. The community followed along as you went through your training, learned details about your life as a recruit, and details such as finding a Molotov cocktail under the seat of a burned out car, or convincing a doctor that a broken finger didn't really need a metal splint. Before you officially begin your new assignments in the field tomorrow, I do want to take a moment to remind you of something I said to you when I spoke with you in March. With the hundreds of hours of technical training, it's sometimes easy to forget the human side of this job, the caring side, and that's really critically important. Each one of you who wears this uniform provides a critical service to the citizens of Frederick County. You are saving lives and protecting property. One of the fundamental responsibilities of local government is to ensure the safety of its citizens. And it really comes down to something pretty basic, and that's taking care of people. The focus on people is certainly a top priority for me and for the entire division. You're in a career that is among the most trusted of public servants. You will make a difference in the lives of the people you come in contact with. The people you touch will never forget how you treated them, they'll never forget how you made them feel, and they'll value what you have done for them in a crisis when they're facing one of their worst days. They'll value your professionalism, your care, and the service you've provided to them. And I do hear feedback a lot from citizens about how they valued what people said to them, how people took over the situation, and the competence and great service that was provided. You have become part of a team that functions very well in intense fire and rescue situations. As part of that firehouse team, you will get together to support each other and become part of a special fire service family. You'll spend a lot of time together. You'll depend upon each other. You'll enjoy meals together. And you will learn something new every single day. As a rookie, you'll continue to learn vital information. If you need to ask others for assistance, do so. That's what your team is there for. If you have a question, ask it. If you are overwhelmed at times, that's what your shift mates are there for. I want to say thank you for choosing to work in Frederick County. Thank you for choosing a career that helps other people. Thank you for going all in. In closing, I also want to thank your families and your friends for their support over the past months, and I want to thank all of you for the support you'll provide over the future years. And before I turn the microphone over to Chief Owens, I want to thank all the instructors and class coordinators, especially Captain Lenny Stolberg and Class Commander Lieutenant Mike Webb. Chief Owens, thank you for the work you and your command staff do to ensure the safety of our dedicated men and women in the fire service every day, those people who put their lives on the line in service to our community. I'm grateful that you've chose to work in Frederick County. We need you. The citizens value you. Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you, Mrs. Gardner. And now I'd like to introduce Chief Owens to introduce our keynote speaker for this evening.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight for this celebration of quite an accomplishment of the young men and women that are parts of your family. Our graduation speaker tonight is Mr. Stu Smith. Stu Smith graduated from the United States Naval Academy, was commissioned as a lieutenant in the United States Navy, and completed basic underwater demolition SEAL training in 1991. During his military career, Lieutenant Smith served with SEAL Delivery Vehicle Team 2 and as a SEAL instructor at the United States Naval Academy. After resigning from the Navy in 1999, he founded Heroes of Tomorrow, a local tactical fitness resource for people seeking a career in the military, law enforcement, or firefighting. This program provides free training for young men and women who wish to serve our country or their community. Stu gives back over 500 hours a year to these professionals by coaching the Special Operations Team at the U.S. Naval Academy, the local men and women in Anne Arundel County where he resides, and he typically works with over 5,000 young men and women each year to assist in their quest. Since leaving the military, he has been training, testing, and writing workout articles and books that prepare people to work in our tactical professions. He has authored over 40 fitness books and has over 1,000 articles online at military.com or on his own website, StuSmithFitness.com. Stu is dedicated to the science of training tactical athletes that serve in our military and public safety professions. And ladies and gentlemen, it is certainly an honor to me, and please join me in welcoming Lieutenant Stu Smith.
All right, I have a few notes here. I want to say thank you first. I think that's going to be a common theme today, you'll see, because I got a lot to thank firefighters for. But first of all, I'm really honored to be here, come to you tonight, and I come here tonight as a grateful citizen, as well as an appreciative fan of firefighters. We're here to honor tonight Recruit Class 21 and their achievement, which is no small feat, as you heard previously. But my common theme tonight, once again, is thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for your commitment to protecting your community. Thank you as well for saving my life in 1970. I owe my life to a fighter EMT. Quick little story. I was 18 months old. My mom was pregnant with my sister. She was 21 years old. We lived in an apartment complex, had a pool in the center, and I knew we were going to the pool. I was fired up, right? We were going to go swimming. And so what happens when you let a little 18-year-old kid down on the ground? Right? Gone, right? So I take off running. I'm so excited to go to the pool, and I go straight to the pool without hesitating, jump right into the deep end, and I go straight to the bottom. And luckily, there was a off-duty firefighter right there that lived in our apartment complex, jumped right in without hesitation, grabbed me, pulled me up. My mom arrives frantic, seeing what happened, and evidently she says I came up laughing, and rest is history. So, so anyway, before I start giving advice, I was trying to think what I need to talk to you guys about as a, I'm not a firefighter, but I revere firefighters tremendously, obviously. Trying to think about what I need to discuss. But before I get into my advice to you as new guys in the firefighting profession, let's talk a little bit about what you've accomplished as a class. 23 graduates, once again, among 1,200 applicants. If you do the math, that is a 2% acceptance rate, which is pretty phenomenal, pretty elite group, I would say. They had to endure academic physical tests, pass interviews, background investigations, psychological and medical screenings, and that was just to get to the academy, right? To get through the academy, recruit class 21, moved through 27 weeks of training. That's 120 training days, over 800 training hours. Much of it very physical, obviously. It's a very physical profession, but also classroom learning procedures, new equipment, gear, and even handling massive, really cool vehicles. Their workouts were not easy either. I had the honor to work with Recruit Class 21 as a guest instructor one day, but I will say that they are led by some of the smartest and most talented instructors that I've seen in the fitness industry. As a class, they lost over 300 pounds, but that's 300 pounds net loss because they probably gained several pounds of muscle on top of that, so they lost even more fat than 300 pounds. And that does not account, obviously, for all the muscle. They also had a 20% improvement on all of their fitness tests on day one and their last day at 27 weeks later. So that shows you that as a very smart training program performed by the academy and also hard effort on your part as well. So bravo to that. Now, my advice number one, don't stop training, right? Don't let it go. You are way ahead of the power curve right now. Stay there. You can bet one day your fitness level will be the difference between life and death in some situation. That might be a victim you're trying to help. It might be your partner. It could even be yourself. So your fitness and health matters. My second piece of advice, in the SEAL teams, we were also on probation after our basic SEAL training, not unlike yourselves. We weren't called probies, we were called new guys, and we were called FNGs for short. So, my advice is learn, right? Stay in receive mode. No need to transmit unless asked. Right? That is a little radio talk there. So stay in receive mode because really, no one really wants to hear what you learned at the academy. Okay? So advice number 3, breathe. Okay? That's probably the best piece of advice I ever received as a young SEAL officer going through training. Because when things get stressful, in my line of work, it was people moving and bullets flying and explosives going off, and you had to, breathe to just get your senses back together, take a big deep breath, get that thinking part of the brain working again, and start moving. It's not going to be that way with you guys, but it's going to be very similar. You have a very common enemy that you guys are going after, and sometimes that is a man-made enemy. It is also a natural enemy in fire, and you are a brother and sisterhood who will rely on each other. It's amazing what a few seconds and a breath to engage that thinking part of the brain will do for you and your ability to think through problems. My next piece of advice, expect to be tested daily. Stay focused. Remember procedures, listen, to your veteran firefighters, follow orders. To do that, what do you have to be doing? Listening, right? And have a keen situational awareness of all around you in every direction. Because you'll probably be tested on what did you see when you went into this building. All right? And that will probably happen at the dinner table. But expect negative feedback. You are going to screw up, right? But be bold enough to make mistakes and learn from them. Even more importantly, learn from other people's mistakes. That's a priceless piece of advice there, let me tell you. When you hear a veteran firefighter talking, once again, listen. You may learn something, even if you're just sitting at the dinner table over conversation. My next piece of advice: don't train until you get it right. Train until you can't get it wrong. Keep training. Practice. Procedures in your head. You can do procedures during your workouts like we did during the guest session that I led with you. And always ask a veteran. You know, show willingness to learn and work hard. My next piece of advice: follow procedures. Fall back on your training. You will one day find that something just clicks in your natural reactions and you are successful in that event, and you feel great knowing that, holy crap, all that training really worked. All right? And also keep that thinking part of the brain working, but also that creative part of the brain working. And you got to work together as a team on the fire ground to figure it out. Once again, next piece of advice rolls right into team player. There are no team players in special operations, or I'm sorry, there are no Rambos in special operations. There also are no individuals on the fire ground. You can't get through that without every member of the team working together in a nice, beautiful choreography of what you do. Effective communications, next piece of advice. Whether that is in person, on the radio, it needs to be clear and concise and relaxed when you're communicating. And finally, I want to end where I started off, saying thank you. Thank you for answering the call to such an honorable profession. I am honored to be in the room with people such as yourselves, as I know if you saw people running this way, you would be running that way. Even though the community may not show you their appreciation every day, they will see by your example what selfless love for other human beings is. And you will change lives. I promise you. Just like that off-duty firefighter did over 40 years ago, you will change lives. So thank you for all that you have done and all that you have accomplished and all that you will do. Thank you very much. And congratulations, Recruit Class 21.
Recruit Class 21 began with 24 individuals possessing various levels of fire service experience and training, some with no training or fire service experience at all. RC21 consists of personnel from many various walks of life. A few were born and raised here in Frederick County, and others as far away as the Virgin Islands. But now, 27 weeks later, there are 23 graduates that no longer work or think as individuals. They have trained together, they have suffered together, and they have grown together as a unit. They have mourned the loss of loved ones, and they have said farewell to classmates who have moved on to other things. These events, coupled with the rigorous training demands, served as the fire that forged and strengthened the bond amongst RC21. They are now all in, every day and in every way. They have become knowledgeable, well-trained, disciplined firefighters that function as a cohesive unit and are capable of making sound, educated decisions on incidents as well as in their personal lives. They are loyal to the citizens of Frederick County and this division, and they will always place the mission first, their brothers and sisters second, and their own personal needs last. Ladies and gentlemen, we will continue our ceremonies with some words from RC21's valedictorian, firefighter Patrick Morin.
Good evening, chiefs, family, friends, loved ones, and guests. On behalf of the members of Recruit Class 21, we welcome you and thank you for attending tonight's graduation ceremony. A special thank you to County Executive Gardner, Frederick County Council, Chief Owens, Deputy Chiefs Coe, Leatherman, and Jewell for your roles in making Recruit Class 21 possible. Tonight is the culmination of a journey that began 27 weeks ago on December 5th. On that morning, we started out as 24 individuals from different walks of life. Today, we stand before you as one team that together is all in to take on the next step in becoming Frederick County firefighters. The transformation was one that we could not have done on our own. Whether it was honing our skills on the drill grounds, lectures in the classroom, or PT sessions on the red footprints, it took a host of instructors to mold the members of Recruit Class 21 into one cohesive unit. So to Captain Stolberg and all the instructional staff at the Academy, thank you for bestowing your knowledge and wisdom onto us. A special thank you, Lieutenant Mike Webb, for taking on the task of leading our class day in and day out. Always the first one at work and the last to leave. Your passion for the job and dedication to turning each and every one of us into disciplined, motivated, physically fit, and capable firefighters is something to be admired. Your approach to this job, day in and day out, is an example for all of us to follow. To the families of the Recruit Class 21 members, thank you for your continued support throughout this journey. Each of the 23 of us are here today because of your support and guidance each and every day. We know that your support will continue as we move on to our respective fire stations. The class motto of All In started out playing off the blackjack theme that we came up with, being that our class was the 21st recruit class. But over the course of the Academy, became much more than that. The lessons we learned taught us the true meaning of being all in. Being all in meant buying into the concept that the mission comes first, even if it meant some personal discomfort. Some lessons we learned were to become comfortable being uncomfortable, to ensure that our teammates were ready to go every day, and that no detail was overlooked regardless of how small it may be. We became disciplined in our daily tasks, and everything we did became uniform. From the way we stored our personal protective gear to how we wore our uniforms. We learned to work as a team in order to overcome the many challenges that we faced. But not all lessons were easy. Many cinder blocks were carried, army crawls through the grass at the pull-up farm were done, and even some uniforms were washed in the showers to ensure that we learned to become disciplined in our jobs and ensure that we were truly all in. There's a picture of a fire helmet in the hallway outside the locker rooms of the Academy with a caption under it that reads, "You do not have to do this job. You get to do this job." Being a firefighter is a noble calling, and in my opinion, the best job there is in the world. The job is also what you make of it. Not everyone gets this great opportunity that is awaiting us. So to my fellow classmates, while tonight is the end of our journey as recruits and it is reason to celebrate, it is but only one chapter in a book that each of us are still in the process of writing. As we move on to the next chapter, keep that all-in mentality that has become such a major part of Recruit Class 21. Be all in how you hone your craft over the course of your career. Continue to educate yourself and learn something new every day. Train hard, remain physically fit, and let no detail be overlooked. I challenge all of us that on the day we retire, we can look back at our careers and say that we left this job better than we found it. Thank you.
Recruit Class Valedictorian, please present RC21's plaque. We will now have the presentation of Recruit Class 21's certificates of graduation. Recruit Training Coordinator, Captain Stolberg, prepare the class for presentation. Chief Owens, Deputy Chief Co-Deputy Chief Leatherman, Miss Susie Nickel, and Deputy Chief Jewell will be presenting the graduation certificates. The dignitaries have formed a receiving line so that they may congratulate the graduates. For those who will be pinning RC21's badges, please proceed to the left of the auditorium where Captain Harn is standing. Family and friends are welcome to come front to take the pictures. Please hold your applause until all members of RC21 have been sworn in. All right, I think we're ready. Alexandra Beerus, Frederick, Maryland. Ryan Bowe, Poolesville, Maryland. Brandon Burke, Cape St. Clair, Maryland. Michael Curry, Reading, PA. Joseph D. Martino, Sykesville, Maryland. Edward Hall IV, Frederick, Maryland. Jeffrey Hunter, Barrington, New Jersey. Timothy Kessler, Middletown, Maryland. Sean Lillis, Westminster, Maryland. Lauren Lum, Dover, Pennsylvania. Patrick Mangus, Baltimore, Maryland. Russell Martin, Mount Airy, Maryland. Zachary McNeil, Spring Grove, Pennsylvania. John McNamara, Mount Airy, Maryland. Zachary Mellon, Baltimore, Maryland. Patrick Morin, Old Forge, New York. Austin Nelson, Gaithersburg, Maryland. Trey Roper, St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. Michael Semmelsberger, Jr., Imesville, Maryland. Tanner Shawley, Glenside, Pennsylvania. Trevor Snodderly, Mercersburg, Pennsylvania. Philip Tracy, Glen Rock, Pennsylvania. James Wardrick, Damascus, Maryland. Chiefs and dignitaries, you may take your seats. Recruit Class 21 will now retire their guidon. If the platoon leader and guidon bearers would come forward to retire the guidon and present it to the Battalion Chief of Training, Battalion Chief Dan Healy. The guidon is a time-honored tradition since the early days of warfare. They were used to alert the commanding general to the disposition of subordinate units. The guidon is a great source of pride for the unit. Throughout the years, several traditions have developed around it. Should it be dropped or come in contact with the ground, the guidon bearer or the unit would be punished in the form of having to do multiple push-ups. It is fiercely guarded in order to prevent other units from taking it. While in training, the recruit class commander may choose to roll up the guidon to hide the identity of the unit due to substandard or embarrassing performance. The guidon is left that way until the unit's performance has improved. Recruit Class Commander, Lieutenant Mike Webb, please have RC21 report to the stage for the swearing-in ceremony. It is my pleasure to introduce the Honorable Ms. Sandra Dalton, Clerk of the Circuit Court of Frederick County, to perform the swearing-in ceremony.
Thank you very much. What a pleasure and honor it is to be here tonight. Recruit Class 21, one final piece of business before you cross that line and become official firefighters. If I could get each of you to please raise your right hand. Individually, I would like to ask you to please state your name. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland and support the Constitution and laws thereof, and that I will, to the best of my skill and judgment, diligently and faithfully, without partiality or prejudice, execute the office of firefighter for Frederick County, Maryland, according to the Constitution and laws of this state, and that I will familiarize myself with and be obedient to the rules and regulations and operational procedures of the Frederick County Department of Fire Rescue Services, and faithfully serve Frederick County in the discharge of my duties as firefighter to the best of my knowledge and ability. If this is your oath, please individually say, "I do." You are officially sworn as firefighters. You may lower your right hands. Congratulations.
On behalf of Recruit Class 21, I would like to call Jeremy Aramis, Frederick News Post Public Safety Reporter, to the stage, please. Yeah, that's you. Come right on up here. While Jeremy's coming up, I'll tell you a little story. Last December, Jeremy approached the senior staff of the department with a request to follow Recruit Class 21 throughout their recruit training academy to profile for the public what is involved in training to become a firefighter with the Division of Fire Rescue Services. I must admit that the senior staff and I were a bit skeptical and wary of how firefighter recruit training was going to be portrayed in print for the public, and if the presence of a reporter and photographer would affect the training process. We just didn't need any recruits posing for the press while they were getting their butts kicked. As class began, Jeremy and one of several Frederick News Post photographers were regularly engaged with our recruits and their instructors. Each week, his work would result in a front-page article in Tuesday's edition of the Frederick News Post. As the weeks went by, the articles detailed the progress of the recruit training. The stories were concise and in layman's terms, so the public could see firsthand the science of firefighting and emergency medical care. The articles featured our instructors and the recruits themselves, which provided first-person commentary on the recruit training experience. The end result was an outstanding news series that allowed our citizens to observe how well our recruit firefighters are prepared to assume responsibility for caring for our community. Recruit Class 21 would like to show their appreciation to Jeremy for his great work and the outstanding support he provided throughout their training. Well, what do you think about that? We also have a little bag of goodies there so we can actually dress Jeremy up to look a little bit like us, because he earned his stripes on that training ground about as much as the recruits did. Jeremy, thank you very much for your great work. It turned out to be really wonderful.
It's been an honor.
You want to speak?
I have no words.
Okay, get off the stage.
Finally, no words.
For our honored guests and staff members on stage, please move to your seats off stage and enjoy this full-featured film brought to you by RC21. Those of you on this side of the podium might want to move over this side so that way you can see.
we're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. We're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. We're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. They say that I'm reckless because I'm relentless. They spit on my face and crush on my name and taking my life in vengeance. Yeah, you could try and blame us and try and take what's sacred, but we're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. Somebody sound the alarm. The fire was set in the dark. It's time that you know. No, we're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. It doesn't matter if the world is gone mad, if we just hold on, if we just hold on, yeah. The sky is falling and the world is gone mad, and we sing our songs and we just hold on, yeah. So if you're running, stop running. One life, one chance, start living. Sing it louder just to let the world know. No, we're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. We're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. No, we're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. Somebody sound the alarm. It's time that you know. It doesn't matter if the world is gone mad, if we just hold on, if we just hold on, yeah. Sing it louder just to let the world know. No, we're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. No, we're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. No, we're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. We were born for greatness. No, we're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. Of the end of the world, but it's feeling just like every other morning before. Now I wonder what my life is gonna mean if it's gone. The cars are moving like a half a mile an hour, and I started staring at the passengers and waving goodbye. Can you tell me what was ever really special about me all this time? But I believe the world is burning to the ground. Oh well, I guess we're gonna find out. Let's see how far we've come. Let's see how far we've come. Well, I believe it all is coming to an end. Oh well, I guess we're gonna pretend. Let's see how far we've come. Let's see how far we've come. I think it turned 10 o'clock, but I don't really know. And I can't remember caring for an hour or so. Started crying and I couldn't stop myself. I started running, but there's nowhere to run to. I sat down on the street, took a look at myself. Said, where you going, man? You know the world is headed for hell. Say your goodbyes if you got someone you can say goodbye to. I believe the world is burning to the ground. Oh well, I guess we're gonna find out. Let's see how far we've come right now. Let's see how far we've come. I believe it all is coming to an end. Oh well, I guess we're gonna pretend. Let's see how far we've come. Okay. Let's see how far we've come. It's gone, gone, baby, it's all gone. There's no one in the corner and there's no one at home. Well, it was cool, cool, it was just all cool. Now it's over for me and it's over for you. Well, it's gone, gone, baby, it's all gone. There's no one on the corner and there's no one at home. Well, it was cool, cool, it was just all cool. Now it's over for me
units reported house fire. Engine 271, engine 272, engine 273 is the rapid intervention. Rescue Squad 27, Truck 5, Safety 927, Tie 927, respond and operate on 92 Joliet. Units responding to Fox 27 15370 public safety place for the house fire, reporting multiple people trapped.
Up on your left foot. Up on your left foot. Down on your right. Down on your right. Got up in the morning. Got up in the morning. Out late at night. Out late at night.
It all is coming to an end. Oh well, I guess we're gonna pretend. Let's see how far we've come. Yeah. Let's see how far we've come. 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 Let's see how far we've come.
Fantastic video. And now Chief Owens would come to the podium for the closing remarks.
Well, good evening again. Let me start by extending my thanks to County Executive Gardner, Sandra Dalton, our Clerk of the Court, for her usual outstanding job of administering the oath, always a very important moment in our program, all of our elected officials that are in attendance tonight, and our guests for taking time this evening to celebrate the accomplishment of our recruits. Let me also extend our thanks to Lieutenant Stu Smith for both your service to our country and for joining us tonight in the words of encouragement that you have provided and shared with the class tonight, which are greatly appreciated. To the members of Recruit Class 21, let me add my congratulations on your successful completion of your recruit training. You will find this to be a life-changing event and an accomplishment that you will fondly recall throughout your career. The message I share with you tonight is intended to guide your transition from recruit training to operational service. Recruit training provides the foundation for the field operations training that is about to begin. You will find your field training just as challenging as the recruit academy, and you will find that our expectations of you are equally high. The effort needed to complete your probation will match what was required during your recruit training. So graduation is not a time to relax, because as you will soon learn, the work has just begun. Drawing from my fire service experience, I will share several keys for a successful transition from the academy to your station assignment. First, you must earn your place in the organization by demonstrating that you add value to your team, and you can do this in several ways. First, display a strong work ethic. Are you going to be the recruit that at 5:58 is pulling into the parking lot on 2 wheels, trying desperately to be at the kitchen table by 6 a.m.? Or are you going to be the recruit that's in early, that has your task already underway, that first pot of coffee's brewing, and waiting for your shift to report. That's a demonstration of a strong work ethic. You should show personal initiative. Do you look around for what needs to be done, or do you wait to be told what needs to be done? Demonstrate your willingness to listen and learn, and ask questions to increase your depth of knowledge. Be open to accepting constructive criticism, because feedback from your assigned mentor and station officer is critical to your success. Maintain a sense of humor. In our business, humor is a survival tool. So if you don't have a sense of humor, you need to find one. Recognize the need to adapt your academy training to field operations. Training in a controlled environment as you have versus working in the street are two very different things. Because imagine yourself performing the skills you've been trained at 2 a.m. in the pouring rain while you're operating knee-deep in a muddy ditch by handlight. It's a completely different environment, and that's what your mentors and your station officers will impart upon you. There will be times when you are expected to follow and times when you are expected to lead, and we expect you to demonstrate your ability to do both. See your crew as a resource. If you are struggling, say something. They all want you to succeed, and your crew members have all been where you are today. On your first day of recruit training, I shared a number of expectations that you must remember as you move forward to your station assignments. So let me remind you of some of your key obligations. As the county executive noted, you are being placed in a position of public trust. The public's trust is critical to the success of our mission. This is a trust you must maintain, a trust you must never compromise, and a trust to which you will be held accountable. Understand that firefighters are role models in our community. Our citizens and the department expect you to always conduct yourself in a manner that displays honesty and integrity, both on and off duty. Understand that the things you say and do matter, and your voice and actions will always be connected to your fire service affiliation. Your health, fitness, safety, appearance, and behavior are your personal responsibilities. You have a duty to care for yourself so you can effectively take care of our citizens. Frederick County is a combination volunteer and career fire and rescue service, and you are expected to work with and alongside our volunteer partners in a manner that is cooperative, supportive, and encouraging of our combination system. Be a professional. And I told you that being a professional has nothing to do with receiving a paycheck. Professionalism is a measure of your personal preparation, commitment, dedication, attitude, and conduct. Again, as the county executive noted in her comments, we are putting you into a position where you will engage our citizens when they are having a very bad day. In some cases, their very worst day. Your duty is to provide aid and comfort and do everything within your ability to be of service to our citizens, and you will do so while always being nice. You will provide service to citizens who live at every point on the social economic scale, from those who are very fortunate and well off to those who are living in poverty and the homeless. No matter what the human condition is you encounter, our expectation of you is clear, that regardless of the circumstances, you will care for every citizen as you would care for a member of your own family. Finally, never forget that the business we operate is a monopoly. When a citizen in Frederick County calls 911, they don't get choices. They get the firefighters and EMTs that Frederick County Fire and Rescue sends them. And starting tomorrow, they get you. Your obligation is to always maintain a state of full operational readiness and be at your very best every time you answer the call. I would be remiss this evening if I did not acknowledge and extend my thanks to the families of our recruits. And it's great to see so many here tonight to join this celebration. As I told many of you during family orientation, your support has been a critical component of your loved one's success during their recruit training. And we understand that the success of a recruit truly represents the success of the family. So recruits, please join me in thanking your family members for their support. Our families should also understand that the need to support your firefighter will continue throughout their career. Last Friday, during night operations, I spoke to the families about your firefighter being exposed to critical incidents that can be emotionally disturbing during the course of their career. Much like our military veterans, regular exposure to traumatic events can be emotionally and psychologically harmful over the course of a firefighter's career. The family will often be the first to recognize signs that your firefighter may be suffering from exposure to a traumatic event. And I spoke about a number of the signs for you to look for last Friday evening. If you suspect your firefighter is in trouble, work hard to get your firefighter talking. That is the only way to begin the process to allow them to vent. If you're concerned and your firefighter is not talking to you about what they are feeling, if your firefighter is not reaching out for help, you need to let us know so we can reach out to your firefighter. Now, if you reach out to us, your firefighter is going to think you're getting them in trouble. But let me assure you that you're not. What you will be doing is getting them help. So please don't hesitate to reach out to their station officer. Talk to that officer, tell them what you're sensing, you're seeing. Tell them how you believe your loved one may be affected by a particular set of circumstances, and let them begin to work the resources we have available in our system to help. Because early intervention is the key to success. In closing, let me recognize Battalion Chief Dan Healy, Captain Lenny Stolberg, Lieutenant Mike Webb, Lieutenant Kathleen Harn, Lieutenant Chris Demopoulos, Cheryl Riley. They represent the bulk of our training staff, our peer fitness trainers, and all the instructors for managing an outstanding recruit training program. Once again, this recruit academy was well planned and well executed. A special note of commendation for our EMT instructors, Fire Medic Margaret Nowazik and Fire Medic Adam Miller, for the extra effort they made to tutor recruits in preparing them for their National Registry examination for emergency medical technician. They put in many extra hours working with this group, and their dedication to this recruit class made the difference in achieving a 100% pass rate on the National Registry exam. I also want to take a minute to recognize a part-time member of our training staff, retired Prince George's County Battalion Chief Lou Reeder. At our Public Safety Training Center, Lou handles logistical support for our training program. I see him sitting back there hiding. But Lou's also our wizard behind the green curtain, because he can build just about anything we might need in that little shop of his in the bottom of the training tower building. I'm not sure how he does it. But during the course of this particular recruit class, Chief Reeder built several specialized training props that enhance the training of Recruit Class 21 and will for future classes. So recruits, let's take a moment to recognize Chief Reeder for all the support that he provides. Thank you, Lou. Lou's old school fire officer, so he's over there all embarrassed right now, but that don't matter. So, Captain Stolberg, if you would bring Recruit Class 21 to attention for their orders. Recruit Class 21, in accordance with General Order 17-016, Your assignment to the Fire Rescue Training Academy is complete. You are hereby graduated from recruit training. You are promoted to Firefighter 1 and transferred to your respective fire station assignments. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Frederick County's newest firefighters.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the benediction by Reverend Wade Martin.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, creator and author of mankind, giver of spiritual grace and divine providence, send down your blessing upon this new graduating class, as well as their brothers and sisters in the fire and rescue service. Surround them with a hedge of protection that they may move forward from this place with forbearance and compassion and selflessly offer their hand to those in danger and distress. And Lord, protect their families and give us all the patience, judgment, and mercy to do your work. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for attending and supporting our organization. This concludes our ceremonies for tonight. Thank you and good night.